Hey everyone, it's me, Barbara. You'll have to excuse chirper streaming in the background. Don't have a lot of soundproofing in our place, so you'll hear him from time to time. I've talked about this publicly in some places, and if you've never heard me talk about this, that's totally fine. I've only brought it up maybe once or twice publicly. So I have a condition called hyperhidrosis, and just to kind of distill it down as quickly as possible, it's essentially a overactive nervous system where areas of my body produce about 4 to 5 times more sweat than what is typical or what is needed for the human body to regulate its temperature. So on me, the places that are most affected are my feet, my underarms, and my hands. My hands are the place that affects me the most because everything you do is with your hands, and mine are just, for lack of a better term, always wet. And we're not talking like clammy, we're not talking, oh, you just have a little bit of a sweaty hand. I'm what people would classify as a severe case. So my hands, when they're at the worst of the worst, which is about 50 to 75% of the day, no matter what I'm doing, they are literally dripping with sweat. So I will have beads of water running down my hands, running down my fingers, the back of my hands. You can't really see it too well right now. They're not that bad right now, but they're starting to glisten just as I talk about this. And this is something that has affected me since puberty. So usually people with hyperhidrosis have it start around puberty. Some people are born with it, some people it comes on a little later. But for me, it started around age 10, 11 or so. So I've been dealing with this for now 20 years. I feel like I could talk for hours about how incredibly socially and mentally taxing and debilitating it's been, but it's hard to really explain that to someone who hasn't really been through this or hasn't suffered with this. And I know in the grand scheme of things that could be wrong with us as humans, this is very low. But it has affected me my entire life, and it's kept me from opportunities, it's kept me from trying things. Even something as simple as I wanted to learn how to play the piano as a kid, but my fingers kept slipping on the keys. I can't tell you how many times I've had to shake someone's hand and they instantly recoil and look grossed out and always ask, oh, what's on your hand, or why is your hand so wet? And I would always have to have an excuse in my back pocket. Oh, I just washed my hands in the restroom and there was no paper towel. Oh, I was just holding a cold drink and I just put it down so my hand's clammy. I always had to have something at the ready because I couldn't just say, oh, I have extremely sweaty hands all the time. Sorry. And it's really weird to be talking about this publicly because I spent the majority of my life keeping this as secret as possible. The only people who knew about this condition were my family, and if I had a boyfriend at the time, I would be honest with him about it. But I never told my friends this. I never spoke about it publicly until recent years, where I've become more confident and comfortable in myself, and also realize that this is a problem that actually affects quite a few people that isn't really talked about publicly because of the way sweat and being sweaty is perceived in our society. But I wanted to keep this video somewhat brief because I'm actually making this for a really exciting reason. After trying pretty much everything there is to try for this under the sun, I've tried medications, I've tried creams, I've tried Botox injections in my hands to try to get it to stop. I've tried a treatment called iontophoresis, where essentially you put your hands into baths of water and an electric current runs between them. Nothing has worked. Nothing has even come close to working. So, kind of the last resort is surgery. And that is what I'm getting done in just a few days from now. So I'm getting the endoscopic thoracic sympathectomy, which very simply put, they go in through my chest and there is a nerve somewhere in there that they clamp. And what that does is essentially stop sending a signal for sweat to the hands. It's extremely effective. I think it's something like 99.2% effective. The surgery is quick, and I'm really excited for this because for the first time in my adult life, I will have dry, warm hands. The reason I wanted to talk about this so openly is because when I was growing up, I didn't know a single person who had this. I thought I was a freak until I started researching and realized that it was something that was not very common, but still affected a good amount of people in the world. But I never heard anyone I knew talk about it, no celebrities, no friends, like nobody I knew had this. And so I felt very alone and very weird for having it, and it was never something that I wanted to talk about publicly because of that. So my hope is that in putting this out there, maybe there's at least one person out there who sees this and feels comforted knowing that it sucks and I get it, and you have someone on your side and who understands the struggle of it. I just want to thank you guys for watching this and for being so supportive and understanding. That's it. Wish me luck. I don't know how to end these ever.